Hello, my name is Michael Keneally, and this is part 3 of our August Star Wheel Astrology and Healing newsletter. And it's all about a background of structures are under attack now. There'll be a current of revolution and tension in August 2021. Structures are under attack now. This is both on the personal level of our individual life and its structures, and also on the level of our societies and the structures of our society. And so the key question is, will the light prevail or will the darkness prevail? But of course, structures are not necessarily good. Some structures were always negative and now need to go. Some structures have outlived their purpose and now need to go. But maybe some other useful and needed structures may come under attack now. This is with Pluto pitting himself against Saturn. Pluto conjunct Saturn. Uranus smashing against Saturn, Uranus square Saturn, and Rahu aspecting Saturn, creating fear and tension. Let's look at the astrology of this. First of all, Uranus square Saturn. Now, Saturn represents structures, and Saturn is under attack from Uranus now, which is transiting in a square aspect to Saturn, Uranus in Aries, Saturn in Capricorn. Uranus at 20 degrees Aries, Saturn starts August retrograde at 16 degrees Aries. Now, Uranus turned retrograde on the 20th of August, but Uranus and Saturn will come together exact again on the 23rd of December, a time window to remember the date of. And this will be at 16 degrees Aries, Capricorn. The forces of revolution in your personal life and in your society meet the structures of your personal life and your personal society. And so the next peak of that is around the 23rd of December. So what's going on now with this Uranus square Saturn in the heavens in August is major revolutionary tension. And indeed, you need to remember perhaps that the last time Uranus was in Aries, that saw the rise of Adolf Hitler and his bringing in of the Second World War. And there could be that sort of energy running, particularly in certain societies and between countries, war flash spots, unfortunately. But it has to be remembered that when Uranus was last in Aries, it brought in the Second World War when some 75 million people died, including many who died because of deliberate genocide, massacres, mass bombings, disease and starvation. So this Uranus transit of Vedic Aries is not to be underestimated. Positively, it's the flag bearer of our needed revolution. But that energy can turn ugly in evil hands. Both our personal structures and the structures of our society are being impacted by the call for change and revolution now, for good or ill. And the point is, the Saturn that Uranus is fighting against is Saturn in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the sign he rules. He will not budge easily from his structures, and so humans will not budge easily from their structures. Let's look at the issue of structures. They're usually put in place by our childhood upbringing, our religious upbringing, our societal conditioning, our habits and conditioning. Now, some of these structures we are conscious of, but others we are unconscious of. And some of these structures are actually part of our inherited fate and destiny, as so well described by Vedic astrology especially, and also Western psychodynamic astrology has a lot to offer in this area. I mean, just one area, astrological declaration of our structures is the 27 lunar signs of Vedic astrology, the 27 nakshatras. And if you know the nakshatras of the sun, moon and ascendant of a person, you can say so much about their egoic personality that they will come into this world with. Its strengths and its defects. And the divine benefit of this is that we can develop spiritual perception of our egoic personality, minimize the negative structures and maximize the positive ones. But also, it's very important to be aware we're not so easily consciously aware of many of our scripts and structures. A lot of them are unconscious. They can be in our shadow, in our unconscious self. And so we do need to develop this sort of awareness in our life and say, well, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why is this blocking me? Why is that blocking me? And bring the unconscious buried material to light. This is particularly important at the time of the Pluto return of the United States. Pluto in the heavens is closing on Pluto in the birth chart of the United States. The first exact hit will be around May 2023. So it's not just Uranus pitting itself against Saturn structures, it's Pluto exploding against them as well. Pluto conjunct Saturn. Pluto and Saturn are both in Vedic Capricorn at this time. The two are exactly conjunct on the 9th of January 2020 at 28 degrees Sagittarius. This is a real war of the Titans. Uranus square Saturn, Pluto conjunct Saturn. Pluto is all about power, including hidden and buried power, rightful power, but also wrongful power and power used over us. And Saturn is all about the structures, blocks, limits and karmas that can cement these power issues into place for good or ill in our life. And Pluto is pitting himself against Saturn at this time, and the battle won't end until our personal structures and our social structures change to accommodate the uprising of my power, your power, and the people's power. Or it will last until new structures are successfully imposed to oppress you, me, or the people. That is a central issue in this time, for example, of the Pluto return of the United States. This is an interesting and fascinating example of how structures and change relate. I discovered that the Catholic Church was made the official religion of the Roman Empire by Emperor Constantine on the 27th of February 390 AD. And the fascinating thing is, Pluto was conjunct Saturn then, as it is now. The Roman Empire changed dramatically when the religion of the Catholic Church was made the official religion of the empire. And I remember as a little boy stumbling across a book from the library, the English historian Gibbon, in his Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, who analysed the imposition of the Catholic Church as a major reason for the fall of the Roman Empire. And indeed, it did fall. It essentially, I mean, it was over a bit of a time window, but essentially it ended when the Huns, the Visigoths and the Vandals crossed the frozen river Rhine, marched down on the imperial city of Rome and sacked Rome in 410 AD, and that was essentially the end of the Roman Empire. So structures have been erected in our life and they're being smashed out by Uranus and exploded out by Pluto now. It's a time to be aware, it's a time to bring in change where change is needed. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much.